Hello, I'm Ashley Oswald, dietitian and founder of Oswald Digestive Clinic, where we help people struggling with bothersome gut issues like gas, bloating, diarrhea, and or constipation improve and often eliminate those bothersome symptoms so that they can get back to living life with more ease and freedom. And the topic today is the gut microbiome or microbiota, and what's the difference between those two and what does that all even mean? I'm sure most of you have heard those terms, but do you really understand the differences or what the meaning behind them is? If not, stay tuned because that is what you will know by the end of this video today. If you haven't already, subscribe if you want more gut health nutrition videos, and hit the little bell next to the subscribe button. That helps you know when we post a new video, and it helps our videos move up in organic search so that we can keep making these videos for you. So now let's just dive right in. So to start, microbiome versus microbiota. What's the difference? Microbiota are actually the organisms in our gut, not only in our gut, but also on our skin, in our mouth, face, this whole kind of interplay of these bacteria and viruses and fungi and other just small organisms. So microbiota is actually those living organisms, and then microbiome is the genetics of those organisms. Now we're hopping into an arena of nutrition medicine where people are getting very excited about genetics, checking genetics, adjusting how we live our life based upon genetics. But you might find it fascinating to know that this microbiota, all these bacteria and the fungi and these little organisms in our gut and on our body, they have genetic potential or genes that are 100 times that of the human genes. So just let that sink in. This microbiota, they have 100 times the genes than just in our human genes. So, I mean, it begs the question, what are we really, right? And so I just want to lay a bit of a foundation here too and let you know that right now, we only know just the tip of the iceberg. Just the tip of all that our microbiome is about. Now, to put it into perspective, the microbiota has started to get recognized in the late 1990s, and it's only been the early 2000s that some of this research has been founded and explored, where we're realizing that these bacteria and microorganisms in our gut do play a role in our all over health, disease prevention, improving diseases. We even have studies showing how the bacteria can affect things like weight and diabetes. And so needless to say, it's 2020 now, it's only been about 20 years. And granted, it is exploding. Like, the amount of research coming out is really exciting. What we're learning is exciting. But something more to add to that is, yes, it's interesting. And yes, what we see in our clinic is that by improving gut health, a lot of times these other autoimmune symptoms improve too, which is awesome. Our gut is host to about 70% of our immune system. So it only makes sense. But then at the same time, for example, the bad bug, you could say E. coli. Most people have E. coli in their guts, but a lot of people aren't affected by it because the balance of their microbiome is healthy, that E. coli doesn't overgrow to cause issues. Further, the foods that we eat, we know that we could eat a food today that could change our gut bacteria within 2 days. So another kind of just way of saying that is that if we humans were to change the way that we eat, say somebody's eating a standard American diet, for example, that's like a lot of white and brown foods, not very little like vegetables and fibers and things that you would find at a farmer's market. And so if this person were to then change over to eating a very kind of like plant-based, good quality, healthy fats, some meats, like this Mediterranean style of eating, or like what you would find at the farmer's market, or like what your grandparents would have eaten, they could have benefits from that within 2 days of changing. Benefits as far as like their microbiota is going to change in a way that seems to be positive, like more of these good players as far as the gut bacteria goes. And that to me is so fascinating and exciting. You know, your efforts are worth it, but it also makes it incredibly challenging to research, right? If it's changing all the time, like, you know, we do run stool analysis at Oswald Digestive Clinic, and it's helpful because it does give us some information, but we also take it with a grain of salt because we know that that stool community is always changing. And so we have to take those lab results and combine it with somebody's clinical presentation and what they filled out on their intake form and what they filled out in their symptom questionnaire and what they are sharing with us, to then pull all that information together and formulate and create a nutrition plan that's going to help them reach their goals, whether that's to get rid of bloating, get rid of their diarrhea, get rid of their headaches, autoimmune issues, etc. So what I can say that we do know about what constitutes a good, healthy microbiome is diversity, so a wide range of different microbiota, and then also resiliency of these microbiota, otherwise known as community stability. Now, have you ever heard the term gut dysbiosis? Well, what the heck does that mean, Ashley? So gut dysbiosis is that microbiome being out of balance. Yeah, with what I told you already and how we're still learning so much about this whole interplay of that microbiome, to fully understand what makes a healthy, what makes an unhealthy microbiome is really naive of me to say, but what we are realizing is that gut dysbiosis is usually two things we're thinking about here is low production of these bacteria producing butyrate. Butyrate's a short chain fatty acid. It's really great for the immune system and it's like a fuel for our gut lining. So we get it from food, but we get it from food because the bacteria then ferment that food to create this butyrate. So things like resistant starch, like green bananas is what I will recommend, or even something that's interesting is like a cooked and cooled potato. So for example, if you were to take a sweet potato, cooking it, you make like a sweet potato salad and then it's a cold salad, that's going to have a lot of this resistant starch that then the bacteria feed on and can produce this butyrate. But if we're low in the bacteria producing butyrate, that might be causing us to have low butyrate production. The other thing with gut dysbiosis is that we do know some of these players that seem to be bad bacteria in the gut. And so if there's an overgrowth of that, that could constitute this gut dysbiosis as well. But again, just to remind you, even if you do have some of these kind of bad bacteria that we've labeled that way, if you have enough of the bacteria that's beneficial to you, like these good bacteria, then it's not going to matter because it's going to outcompete. So it's really, we're trying to take into consideration the whole big picture when it comes to this microbiome. So to conclude, if there's one interesting thing I'd want you to pull away from this, it's maybe just the terms like microbiota and microbiome, and how microbiota is the like bacteria and those viruses and that fungi and those other organisms that are in our gut, on our skin, all over. And then microbiome are the genes. And remember, like the super interesting fact of these microbes have 100 times the genetic potential compared to human genes. Wow. And so just to like really big picture sum it up, my goodness, the food that we eat, it's going right into our gut tract where most of these are sitting in our large intestine. So that's why people will say, you know, food as medicine, because think about it. If the food that we eat can change our microbiome within a couple of days, and our microbiomes being tied to improving chronic diseases, preventing chronic diseases, then of course, like the food that we eat is going to affect our overall health, and it can have amazing potential to improve. And I've seen it reverse different chronic diseases time after time. I want to thank you so much for listening. I do have this free download if you're interested, 5 ways to improve gut health and eliminate food intolerances for good. It's linked in the description below. Also, if you are interested in hearing if you might be a good fit for working with our clinic, you can book a free 15-minute call in the description below, or I just look forward to seeing you on future YouTube videos. Thank you so much, and I hope you have a wonderful day.